Wow. How about that? How's that for a start? All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and this is the Friday Frights extravaganza. As always, we'll be doing 2 full hours of the Paranormal Portal. No commercial interruptions that I know of, although I did hear from some viewers they were getting YouTube commercials during the middle of the shows. Please let me know if that continues. I don't know what the hell that was. Everything's making noise here. Sorry. Because that shouldn't be happening. But if it does happen, we'll keep looking into it, I guess. Hi, Lucky Gypsy. How you doing over in Twitch? Great to see you. I've got to get things lined up a little better here because I got stuff smashed and folded up all over the place. I just wanted to make sure all the streams are running. And they're running, so that's good. We got that going for us. Where the hell is that? There we go. There's the Rumble chat. Here's the Twitch YouTube chat. And here's me. And this is the Paranormal Portal. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, in case I didn't already mention that. LFG, I'm excited. I've seen like over 100 episodes on Apple Podcasts past 5 years. Oh, very cool. Well, I'm really thrilled that you're here to catch a live one. I should let you know, 5T5, that first of all, it's fantastic to meet you. I love seeing new names come in, and there was another one, Jason. Jason the Hat is here as well. Those are a couple new names right off the bat that I've not met before, but thank you guys for coming in. Now, just so you know, the Paranormal Portal is basically 2 different shows. It's a podcast as well as these live streams, which are more of a paranormal variety show. We like to have fun. We like to take it light, have a good time. The chat is a big part of what we do here. This chat community is amazing. If you're new here, you'll get to know that these people are wonderful, and they've been with me, many of them, for years. They're just part of the family, and I'd love for all of you guys to be part of the family. It's really become an incredible community all on itself. I can't take credit for that. You guys have built this incredible community around the shows, and I'll forever be grateful for that. You guys are amazing. And so these variety shows, we cover all the different topics that we can throughout a 2-hour span. I do the paranormal news, and some of it's actually paranormal, but some of it's just bizarre. There's a whole host of things that we cover here. And, we'll do the cryptid corner to wrap it all out. And then I got another article that I pulled up that I thought would be fun because it deals with several folklore stories that basically are very much grounded in the paranormal and continuing encounters that people have. But these are the folklore origins, so to speak. They're referencing the origins of things like the Wendigo and La Laona or Llorona, however you pronounce that, and several others. And we're going to talk about that as well. And we'll dive into a story from Sasquatch Chronicles. It's a brief one, but it's an announcement for an upcoming show with some background on what's coming up on Sasquatch Chronicles. I got the gear on tonight, folks. I just pulled it out of the wash and went, yeah, that's what we're wearing tonight. And then we'll get to the cryptid corner. We'll cover some phantoms and monsters and some creature reports from our wonderful friend, Mr. Lon Strickler, who's not joining us live, but he's given us his blessing to use the site. And I love to promote what he's doing. He's been at it for a long time. He's a great guy. So that's the game plan. Where we end up, how we end up, it doesn't matter. Nothing's cut in stone. If we end up sidebarring and talk about something absolutely different, that's fine. If you guys have questions you want to ask me, feel free. I'll do my best to keep an eye on the chat. It's hard during the news because I actually have to have the chats buried underneath a browser where I'm pulling the articles that I've pre-pulled up. But after that, I should at least be able to see them. So if you have a question for me, you really want to grab my attention, the best thing is to put it in all capital letters. That's the most flamboyant way. I used to say put at Paranormal Portal because it highlights it in the chats, but I'm using a tool that kind of aggregates 2 different chats. It aggregates Twitch chat and YouTube together, and then I have Restream or Rumble chat rather is up as well. So I may not see the highlighted thing just because I don't have that function in the aggregated chat box, but if you put it in capitals, Sasquatch Chronicles is how I found you all. That's awesome. You're the second person today that I've talked to. I was actually wearing the shirt and was walking to get my son from the school bus. Someone goes, "Oh, Sasquatch Chronicles, I love that show." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." So I talked to him a little bit about Sasquatch Chronicles and stuff. It was really neat. But then, he's like, "Oh, I think I've heard of you." I was like, "Yeah, I was on there once. It was a great time." And Wes has been on this show a few times, and we've had great conversations. One of which is in the podcast archives, if you want to check it out. It's the Project Stargate, and that was highlighting the CIA's program to focus on remote viewing, and it's some pretty incredible stuff. So lots of good stuff, and there's always more. So we'll keep them coming. You keep showing up. But anyway, we're going to get to the news. It's just me tonight. Sheldon couldn't make it. He sends his apologies, but life happens, and that's okay. So it'll be just me and all of you. So we'll do our best to keep it as fun and entertaining as I know how, which sometimes can be a train wreck. But at any rate, this is always live and unrehearsed, unscripted. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll do my best to give you the best darn show I know how. So without any further delay, I guess we can get to the news if you guys are ready to get informed and be brought up to speed on the happenings in the world around us. Nothing really deep and dark and depressing. We keep it light here. So let's start there with the news, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're ready, because I'm going to news you up. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. The Paranormal Portal news desk is now live. There we are. I'll be your anchor, Brent Thomas, in the news desk, which looks exactly like the other desk, because it is the same desk, but it's got this cool color all over. If you see this green box down here, if you're new to the show too, this is a Ghost Radar application that I've had for about a decade or so now, maybe about 13 years now, and I love it. It's really kind of cool. Again, if you see something come up on the screen, it doesn't necessarily mean it's paranormal, but just to revisit the mechanics of it a little bit in case you're new and you're like, "Oh, Ghost Radars, come on." Here's the thing. Any wireless device uses a piece of equipment called a magnetometer. Magnetometers are very similar to what K2 meters and other EMF meters utilize to detect electromagnetic anomalies or strengthened fields or whatever. And so your computer or your laptop or your phone or your tablet or whatever has a magnetometer built into it. And it's a very specific range of EMF, but it can detect signals. It can detect anomalies, and it can detect them in a 3D space. In fact, a little piece of trivia that I learned about years and years and years ago, but there was actually some universities that were utilizing routers in people's homes, and they were able to actually map people's homes and where they were in the homes just based on the signal returns from a router. And so that kind of gives you an idea of how tech could be used, but in this case, it's just detecting EM anomalies. It doesn't mean it's paranormal, but it could be, theoretically. We don't know much about ghosts or anything like that, but it could be. So, just throwing it out there. It also has a word database that'll spit out words sometimes, and it's very few and far between oftentimes, but sometimes they're wildly relevant and sometimes they're absolutely ridiculously bizarre. Like, what the hell does that mean? Like, we'll be just talking about, UFOs, and something like, zipper will come up or whatever. It's like, what the hell does a zipper have to do with anything? I don't know, but so I don't put a lot of stock in the word database as much. The EM thing might be something. Hi, Marstall. Good to see you. Hi, everybody. Good show. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. It's wonderful to see you. I like seeing new names popping up. This is exciting. I'm excited. What can I say? All right, so let's get to the news. Again, throughout this course of the show, we're going to be utilizing several sites, online sites, and I just hope that you guys will give these sites traffic, give them attention, visit them, check out other articles that we don't talk about on the show, because these sites are incredible, and I really want to endorse people visiting them and helping keep the lights on, because a lot of times these sites are just done on the blood, sweat, and tears of a single person or a couple or a few people, and they're doing it on their own resources, and hosting a well-visited site is incredibly expensive. So your visits equal revenue through ads and things like that. So help supports what they're doing by visiting them, checking them out. The first site we're going to use tonight is called unexplained-mysteries.com. It's really common. We use this during the news because it's just a phenomenal site for this. They just have these really up-to-date, really relevant and well-done articles. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. But we're going to visit the UFO phenomena first in the newscast, because we're going to unexplained-mysteries.com, ladies and gentlemen. And let me get the right screen up. Here we go. All right, here we go. Dan Sheehan, good to see you. I'm getting new glasses tomorrow. Congratulations. In the news, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news, Dan Sheehan gets new glasses tomorrow. There you go, Dan. All right, here we go. Woman in Italy captures photograph of UFO from her balcony. And this is from May 8th, and I don't know if this is the actual woman or a stock photo. But it says the surprisingly clear image shows what appears to be a metallic saucer-shaped object in the sky. Something strange was haunting the skies over the Italian town of... Boy, there we go. Just a little fair warning. I'm not very worldly, so I'll do my best to pronounce things as well as I can. It looks like maybe Celle di Bulgaria earlier this month, but an explanation for the mysterious sighting has proven quite elusive. The object, excuse me, the object was filmed by Anna Ida Guida, I guess, who posted it up on Facebook on May 5th. I took the picture outside my balcony, actually two at the same time. In one there is nothing, and in the other is this posted. And the other is this posted. That's a weird sentence. Anyone tell me what it is, she wrote. Me, while I didn't see anything, I wasn't looking at my phone, but at the sky, because it was a picture made enough to show time to my boyfriend. Again, this is maybe translated. I don't know what's going on here. The image she posted generated some lively debates, with others suggesting that it could be anything from a black plastic bag to a drone, or perhaps even an alien visitor. According to local news outlet, the photograph has since been forwarded along to the Mediterranean ufological, how do you say that? Ufological? Sorry. Center for further analysis. You can check it out for yourself in a TV report about the sighting below. It's in Spanish. What do you think the object could be? Oh, there's the object. I'm not so sure that's a plastic bag. That doesn't look like a plastic bag to me, but I guess this is from, what the hell is this? Celle di Bulgaria footage UFO 7 mag. And again, this is in Spanish, so we'll just do our best here. I don't speak Spanish. I barely speak English. But let's get to hopefully the meat of this. I guess these are the pictures.
Identificato compare nel cielo.
Oh, it's above
La
the house.
foto è stata scattata.
It's above the house. It just keeps jumping to these pictures. Yeah, we saw this. There it is. I think it's this right there is the UFO. Looks like a cool little village. Yeah. Is there anything going on here? Is it just going to flash between these two pictures? Looks like that's what it's going to do. Okay, well, that's enough of that. It's going to flash between those two pictures. So there you go. Is it a UFO? I don't know. Could be. Could be actually. It could actually be. And I know this will sound bizarre, but sometimes, well, I don't know. It doesn't look like a bug really. But sometimes, beetles fly. But usually you see their shells kind of cracked up and the wings are, fuzzy over here. So and beetles don't generally fly real quick. So I don't know. I guess I don't know what it is. Could be Could be a UFO, folks. It's definitely a UFO because it's an unidentified object that appears to be flying. But how far away is it? I don't know. It could be feet from her and it just got caught in the lens, or it could be, half a mile away or hundreds of feet. We don't know. So again, there it is. What do you make of it? I don't know. Could be a UFO, but it also could be something else. Things like this, I think, are valuable because they do provide a supplementation to an existing body of evidence. I think it's really compelling when people catch the same style of craft in different areas, because it does seem to suggest then that those objects are not only in those areas, but they're traveling between areas maybe and such. Or there's a bigger population of them around and there's lots of them. We don't know. But anyway, it's a saucer-shaped craft. It's very dark. There's not a lot of features to try to discern in it. It's just a very smooth looking and saucer shaped. So what is it? I don't know, but it could very well be a UFO. Could be I don't buy the whole drone thing, because drones generally look like drones, and everybody would know a drone. They look like basically a letter X with propellers on all the points. I mean, they're pretty, or it looks like an asterisk, with maybe more points than just the 4. Maybe it's got 6 or 8. But in any case, they're pretty recognizable, unless they're military drones. And if that's the case, the chances are, if you're not in a theater of war, they're not flying a lot of military drones around residential areas. They just don't do that for any number of liabilities. Mostly, I would think, because generally, if it's a military drone, it's armed with something and could be extraordinarily dangerous if something went wrong. So, the fact that this is in a residential area in a town that's not in a theater of war, I don't buy that it's a military drone. It's not a consumer drone, clearly, unless someone's figured out how to make it look like a flying saucer. Maybe those are out there. I'm not a drone specialist, but my take is it could very, very well be a UFO. Can I be sure of that? No, it's literally a picture. But anyway, at least it's something. So you be the judge. Is it a UFO? Is it not? Maybe, maybe not. I think I'm going to turn this off, though. There we go. Because Don is not here and his chair is sitting empty. So at least it should be. If you notice someone sitting in Don's chair, definitely let me know. Because that shouldn't be happening. So there we go. That's the first article up tonight on the news. Let's get to another one. I've got a few of them. So let's see what else is going on. And this is this one cracked me up. Oh my God. Sometimes we cover these bizarre stories on the news, just so you know, in case you're new. Some of the stuff is paranormal related, definitely supernatural paranormal related. Some of it is just bizarre, and this is one of those. So just to give you a little forewarning, and I remember hearing stories, and they were kind of folklore stories, but I remember hearing stories back in maybe the 80s of tourists going down to Mexico for a vacation or whatever, and they come home with these little chihuahuas. And they'd come home with these chihuahuas, and the story would be pretty consistent. I heard it a few times through the years, but they brought home this cute little dog, little chihuahua dog, and it got sick, and so they got worried about it, so they took it to the vet. They take it to the vet, and the vet goes, that's not a chihuahua, that's a sewer rat. Apparently, the idea was they cropped the tail on a sewer rat and called it a chihuahua. True, probably not. But I'm sure there's more versions of that out there. Is it possible? Maybe. I guess anything's possible, but this is kind of in that vein. That's why I set it up with that story. So, coming again from unexplained-mysteries.com, the world of the bizarre. Pandas at zoo in China turn out to be dogs dyed black and white. What was it P.T. Barnum said? A sucker's born every minute. Although I don't know that China's the place I'd want to pull a scam, because I think the hammer drops pretty hard over there for people trying to sucker people out of money. But turns out to be dogs painted black and white. Let's see what's going on. Let's go on with this. A zoo in China is under fire for reportedly misleading visitors with fake pandas that are actually just dogs. Oh my God. The Taizhou Zoo in China's Jiangxi province opened a new panda exhibit earlier this month. Visitors flocked to the enclosure to view what they assumed would be giant pandas. To say that they were disappointed by what they actually saw there would be an understatement. Instead of giant pandas, the new exhibit contained Chows, a type of dog with a thick coat. And what's more, the dogs had been dyed black and white to make them look like pandas. Oh my God. That's hilarious. That is so stupid, it's hilarious. The incident sparked a great deal of criticism and debate, and the zoo arguing that it had accurately described its new exhibit as panda dogs, and that therefore it was not misleading. Come over here and check this out. We got the elusive panda dogs. Yeah, I don't think there's panda dogs. This is a zoo. This is not a sideshow in a circus. This is a zoo. Ugh. This is just a display we offer to visitors, the zoo told local news outlet The Global Times. We're not charging extra. The wording featuring Chow Chow dogs is correct and exactly describes what they are, so we're not cheating our visitors. Oh my God. This isn't the first time a zoo in China has been accused of these types of shenanigans. Back in 2010, a park in Zhengzhou, Henan province, tried to pass dogs off as tigers by dyeing them in a different color. Suffice to say, such tactics tend to backfire once the public actually finds out about them. You can check out the pandas in the video below. We got to check out these pandas. I think Chows are really cute dogs, though. That's kind of tragic. I mean, wouldn't it be kind of a giveaway when they're not eating bamboo and stuff? It's like, why is that dog eating, or why is that panda eating dog food? Maybe they do. I don't know. There they are. There you go, folks. Panda dogs. They dyed donkeys as zebras, too. Okay, this is my surprised face. Yeah, I mean, clearly that's pretty bad. They are adorable colored that way, though, but I mean, can you imagine? I mean, clearly they really went to town coloring these dogs. So that can't be good for the dogs. Even dyeing them colors, poor little guys. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. It's like, can you imagine how many heavy metals are probably rolling around in their bloodstream now? It's okay. We got more Chows. Don't worry. I don't know how this works, but that's really weird. They're adorable, but that's just really, really tragic. I can't even believe that. I can watch it again. Look at that dog going, what in the hell is going on here? That is so lame. Oh my God. This is from the New York Post. Visitors outraged as Chinese zoo dyes dogs. Come see the new pandas. They're panda dogs. That is weird. I mean, they might as well have, like spider monkeys painted up like Spider-Man or something too, Come see the new Spider-Man exhibit. No, it's just monkeys. But they look like Spider-Man. That is weird. That is really weird. I don't know. Again, P.T. Barnum said it best. A sucker's born every minute. But the gig is up, apparently, for these guys. I got to imagine there's got to be some serious repercussions in China for that kind of stuff. They don't seem to have a real robust sense of humor for this kind of thing over there. Being conned or being taken advantage of. I wouldn't do it. Hi, Atomic Cooper. Tommy Cooper, Mr. Cryptovania. Good to see you, brother. Time to go to Home Depot. We're running low on white and black wall paint. Yeah, they just use rollers. We didn't dye it. We painted them. Just all this dried paint matte. And with a bunch of bald chows. I wonder if they look like bald because they're adorable, all fluffy and stuff. But I'll bet you they're horrifying when they're bald. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I've never seen them. They'd probably look like a cryptid, though. Maybe that's how they get the Chupacabra exhibit next. they glue porcupine quills to their bald chows and call them Chupacabras. Could happen. I'm just saying, some vampire fangs, you're in business. Might work. It might work. Or those bald cats, whatever those things are. You know, those skin cats? Oof. I understand some people need to have that kind of cat for like hypoallergenic. But I like the whole fur thing. That's soothing to me. Rubbing skin, I don't think would be as soothing as that. You know, I don't know. Anyway, I've never pet one of those cats that's bald. But anyway, I digress. All right, let's go to the next one. Good God. You know, you might not have known that before today, but you know that now, and you're welcome. I've got 2 more articles to get through. Maybe we'll get to both of them. I don't know. And this one's kind of a technology one. I don't know. I do really believe there is merit to the whole idea that there's a breakaway space program going on, that there is a segment of our population, and I mean a very, very small segment, that probably has access to some incredibly advanced stuff. And I think it was Mr. Rich of the Lockheed Skunk Works, or maybe it was some other person, a military person, that was quoted as saying, "We now have the technology to bring ET home." Meanwhile, the rest of us are watching them strap rockets to, cans and launching them up into space, kind of like the Roadrunner cartoons, like Wile E. Coyote or whatever. But I think the technology exists. And it's too bad because, imagine where we could get to, how much more advancement we could come to in a global society if we opened up the doors on that and made it possible. But we're still dealing with rockets. However, sounds like there's a new rocket coming out. And this one, I don't know if this is encouraging or terrifying. Anyway, this is the story from unexplained-mysteries.com. From Space and Astronomy, I'm just looking. It's not too long, so it should be okay. Okay. Oh, dear God, don't do that. I got a big ad filled up my whole screen. Sometimes it happens, folks. Here we go. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Nuclear-powered plasma rockets could get humans to Mars in 2 months. Well, that's better than 6 or whatever it is now, but anyway. NASA is currently funding a revolutionary new propulsion system that could make it much easier to travel to Mars. Getting humans to Mars is undoubtedly a challenging prospect with current technology. Traversing the distance between the Earth and the red planet typically takes over 9 months. Yeah, 2 months looks a lot better. That's a long time for anyone to spend traveling through the stellar void. Particularly problematic would be the need to carry enough food, water to last the trip, as would the radiation exposure that the crew would suffer during that time. But what if it were possible to reduce such a journey down to just 2 months? That's a great question. A revolutionary new propulsion system currently being developed through NASA's Innovative Advanced Concepts, or NIAC, program could be the answer. Developed by Arizona-based Howe Industries, the new system uses nuclear fission to produce bursts of plasma that can propel a spacecraft at much greater speeds through the cosmos. Scientists believe that the new propulsion system has the potential to produce 22,481 pounds of force with a specific impulse of 5,000 seconds, and would be incredibly fuel efficient. Not only that, but it would be capable of propelling much heavier loads than is currently viable, meaning that the spacecraft could be properly shielded to protect its occupants from radiation. While it might be a while before we see something like this become a reality, there should be nothing to stop such a propulsion system from being built. It is not some exotic science fiction solution, but a system that uses existing principles and technologies. If it can be done, it could open up the whole solar system to manned exploration. But we want to go further than that. Well, anyway, it's a start. I guess it's progress for all of us mules out here that don't have access to all that super advanced UFO stuff. But at any rate, it's progress. So there you go. There you have it. Maybe it's exciting. Maybe it's scary. Because what if something goes wrong on launch? I mean, I don't know enough about fission, fusion, all that stuff, and the risk of components or failures and what could happen if something went sideways. But you just hear nuclear and automatically you just think, well, I hope that works. So anyway, that's what they're developing, and maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. Just some news. I thought it was interesting, so I'm bringing it to you. All right, one more. Here you go. This is one I've had hoping for a while. This is another one from the world of bizarre. And again, P.T. Barnum said, suckers born every minute. Well, you know, everybody's got beautiful gardens, or many people have beautiful gardens. And I think every neighborhood has that one person that just goes to town. And they set up just this almost a botanical masterpiece. But, bet you they don't have these. Let's check them out. Because, according to unexplained-mysteries.com, scammers are trying to sell seeds for fake cat-shaped flowers on eBay. There you go. There you go. Everybody should have this. I think this bush would creep me the hell out. You go outside. It's like, are those flowers watching me? Are they really watching? All right, these remarkable looking flowers, described as cat's eye dazzle, are as fake as can be. In what is surely one of the strangest scams we've seen in a long time, eBay users are being conned into purchasing packets of seeds for a type of flower that doesn't actually exist. Supposedly known as cat's eye dazzle flower, this spectacular looking plant is in fact entirely fictitious, and photographs of it are doing the rounds on social media are AI generated. Really? It is thought that the images were first posted by a user on the National Geographic Wild Planet Facebook page, but it is possible that similar photographs have been shared online before that. It wasn't long before the pictures went viral, fooling large numbers of people into believing that they were real flowers and prompting scammers to take advantage by trying to sell seeds on eBay. Several hundred listings have since cropped up, but it is unclear how many are actually sold. Suffice to say, if you see one of these up for sale, steer well clear of it. Yeah, you're not going to get these flowers. That's just not going to happen. I wonder what seeds they're selling. I mean, it could be poison ivy, for God's sakes. You know, I mean, you just don't know. How far does the depravity go? If you're already suckering people for money, what are you going to do? I don't know. So there you go. If it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So a word to the wise. Don't try to buy cat's eye flowers because they don't exist. You're welcome. That's a public service message. The more you know. So there you go. This has been a presentation of the Paranormal Portal News. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you had a couple good laughs and found it at least interesting. But let's get back to the rest of the show. Aw, thank you, Karen. Karen remembered. Woo! Fred Flintstone. He's a member of the Flat Earth Society that has members all around the globe. Gave you a rim shot there. Yabba dabba doo. Hey, Fred. Sorry. That's the best Marnie I got. All right, folks. That was the news. Do you feel more informed? Do you feel like you're more worldly and well-rounded than you were before? Just saying, you're welcome. That's what I try to give you every day on these Paranormal Portal news segments and more. We got a lot more to get to. Okay, so next up, I pulled up this article. I thought this was really cool. Fred. Fred Flintstone. I love the names sometimes. You guys have the greatest chat names. That's really cool. And over in Rumble, we got Justin Goodearth, Barbara Mora, and Ty Pan over there, along with myself. And I don't see Lucky Gypsy over there. She probably is. HB Girl to you too is over there, maybe. But I'm here. Good to see you, Justin. Great to see you popping in. Let's see. I guess we could do shout-outs on YouTube's as well. As long as we got a second just to see who's here. Just to see who's here. We got 50 people apparently in the audience on YouTube. And y'all don't have to chat, of course. That's not necessarily important. But what is important is that you're here. Thank you so much. So I'll give you a couple seconds to type something in chat if you want a shout out. I'll be happy to shout you out. I should probably drag this out, though. This is rather small, and it's in a bad position for me to read at a distance. Here we go. Let's do it this way. And go to participants. No. How about this? There we go. There's the participants. Okay, so I'm going to start the shout-outs here, and we'll see who's here and say hello. All right, so first up, we got Annie Manuel. Good to see you, Annie. Aussie Tigers here. Good to see you, Aussie. Barbara Moras in YouTube and in Rumble. Good deal. Fred Flintstone is here. Good to see you, Fred. Cool Hand just popped in, as is Iesu Reloaded. Isaac Areola is here. Good to see you, Isaac and Iesu. And wonderful to have you here. Who else? Jason the Hat is here. Of course, we said hello to Jason a little bit ago. Jesse Garcia is here. How you doing, Jesse? Hope you're having a good night. John Temperin, Karen Alberding, and Mar Stahl. Mar Stahl is here. Good to see you, Mar. Thanks for coming in. And Mar is also a new member. Excellent. Thank you so much. Neil S. is here as well. Wonderful to see you. I know Portal Mom's out there watching. Rachel Gets It Right. Richard Elmore. Good to see you guys. Thank you so much. Ron the Sage is here. How you doing, Ron? And the Dachshund Master. That's awesome. And Tommy Cooper. And who popped in? The names keep popping up. Jessica, Cool Hand, Barbara Moore, Aussie Tiger, I think, did I say everybody? But then the list kept growing and shrinking, so I'm not sure if I missed a name there. Richard Elmore. How you doing, Richard? And Chris Cirque just popped in, said hello. Good to see you, Chris. Excellent. Thank you guys for being here. That's the chatters so far. And, again, it's not a criteria to chat if you choose not to. It's just wonderful to see you guys here. Thank you so much. That means the world to me. I don't remember to do shout-outs enough, and I definitely want you guys to know that, just doing these shows and turning on the lights and seeing you guys come in is still such a rush to me. It's like, wow. People want to show up and hang out. That just feels really good. So thank you guys for that, and appreciate you being here. Yeah, it's nice to see everybody. Okay, so I got this article. I kind of mentioned it a little bit ago, but I thought we'd get into this because this is kind of cool. And remember, the news is over, so if you have questions you want to ask, and doing good tonight, Brent. Oh, good to hear it, Ron. Great. Thank you, sir. Ron was actually a guest on the podcast a while ago, too. We had a good discussion. Some interesting stuff, for sure. Always lurking in the back, Chris says. Nothing wrong with lurking. There we go. So, here we go. All right, we're going to go to an article, and this is from ranker.com. This is another one of those great sites. And again, please visit it. Say hello to anybody that might be watching right now. Thanks for being here. So that's very good, Lucky Gypsy. And thank you. Hello to all you Twitchers. If you're out there, I appreciate you guys watching as well. I haven't seen a lot going on Twitch, but I know people are checking it out. So that really does mean the world. And I hope the Twitch community will really start popping into and having chats as well. I mean, it'd be harder to keep up with 3 full chats, but I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to do it. And as you see on the screen, right to the right, where all the chat is appearing, if anybody's talking in Twitch, you see the Twitch icon there. The only ones you aren't seeing now on there are the Rumble chats. And so if you're in YouTube and chatting, check the on-screen chat, because sometimes there's messages from the Twitch community. And right now it's Lucky Gypsy. So thank you, Lucky Gypsy, for being over there. She is our mod over there on Twitch, keeping an eye on things. So wonderful to have you there. Thank you so much. And hello, Twitch. All right. Now, I mentioned this, hey, John Tempered. Did I say hello to you before? I don't know if I did. But anyway, good to see you, brother. All right. This is a story. I got to take a drink. I'm just suddenly dried right out. Thanks to our mods everywhere. I should say that. I should tell you guys that the chat communities are wonderful anyway, but our mods are amazing. Rachel gets it right, and several others that are here. And we got Barbara is a mod over on Rumble, and I don't know if Justin, I think you are too. But anyway, it really means the world to me to have you guys over there, so thank you so much. Oh, Ty Pence has solar flare tonight? I don't know. Is there a solar flare tonight that's happening? I guess it's a good thing it's night for us if there is. I don't know. I guess it would affect the other side of the world. Not that I'm hoping that anybody's affected by it, but anyway, I just saw that pop up in chat. I was like, ooh, I didn't know about that. But there's so much I don't know. I could write books about all of that, which is a stupid statement. Now that I think about it, that's obviously there's most of us don't know everything. All right, so we're going to get to this story from Ranker.com. Again, please visit Ranker. It's an amazing site. It's got a lot of lists. Pretty much anything you're interested in, you can find it on Ranker, and you can find articles that were generated about that. And this one is written by Rima Pundir, and it's from April 24th of 2024. It's a really new article, but she did an exceptional job talking about these several folklore tales. And the name of the article from Ranker.com is 18 Scary Folklore Tales That Deserve to Be Retold. And by God, we're going to retell them now. At least we're going to revisit them. And again, none of these are real exhaustive, but they do a great job of encapsulating at least the meat of it. Jesse Wilkins came in and gifted memberships. You are a beast, brother. What a legend. Absolutely. That is cool. You are a legend, brother. Thank you so much. Jesse Wilkins, for those of you that don't know, is a wonderful friend of mine from an incredible show that he and Rob and Dave put on called Hometown Ghost Stories. And they are exceptional. And I encourage you to head over there and check out their show because they are doing it so right. They are incredible guys. And I've been guest on their show many times. They've been here on the portal. We have a marvelous time together. I just love those guys. So, all right. So, they're seeing the Aurora Borealis as far south as Italy. That's crazy, Aussie. That's a long way south. Okay, well, let's get to this folklore article because I think this is pretty great. And most of these you probably heard of. But some of them you might not have heard of. And again, if you haven't heard of them, you learn about it, you're welcome. But you gotta thank Ranker.com, not me, and Rima Pundir. So here it goes, 18 scary folklore tales that deserve to be retold. Look at those face. Look at that face. Just come on. Oh, could you imagine opening your closet and seeing that? I'm telling you. I would, even if I just got out of the shower and had clean underwear on, I would need a new set right after this. That would just be it. And of course, the Wendigo. This one's looking pretty beefcake, though. Mostly Wendigo are very gaunt and lanky creatures, but this thing's got some shoulders on it. Obviously not a photograph, but still. All right, so the first one we're going to get to is the Wendigo, which is, of course, I think everybody's at least familiar with it a little bit. I will say about the Wendigo, it's an odd tale or an odd phenomena in that people do claim to see this creature in the woods. The reports still continue to this day. However, defining the Wendigo is actually a lot different than a lot of the normal cryptids that you hear about, because sometimes the Wendigo is defined as a possessing spirit. That maybe it's not physical at all, in that it's more of a demonic presence. Other times it's identified as very much a creature, but it also affects people and can cause them to become these flesh-crazed monsters. And then there's a third kind that sounds like an offshoot of Bigfoot, that it's kind of an amalgamation of several of these things. And so Wendigo is kind of a confusing one, and I don't know if that's incumbent upon the story possibly being shared by different First Nation communities, or if it's just what our modern day confusion has done to it. I don't know which is which, to be honest with you. There's a person that I do know that knows much more about it. His name is Ryan Paul Tremblay, and he's really well versed on the Wendigo and Dogman and several other cryptids. And so he would probably be a much better source for any clarifications on that. But at any rate, let's get to the Wendigo. It says, and it's broken down really cool. Where's it from? In the folklore of the Algonquin peoples, the legend of the Wendigo, also spelled Wendigo or Wendigo, originated in Canada and later spread to the U.S. What's the legend? Well, some deviations exist, but the basic origin story is that the Wendigo was once a lost hunter. To survive a brutal winter, he turned to cannibalism and then turned into a crazed man-beast with a taste for human flesh. The Algonquin tribes blamed the disappearance of many people on this frightening aberration. Often described as a gaunt skeleton of a creature smelling of death, the Wendigo has found many a mention in TV series like Supernatural. The TV series Lost Tapes depicts a strange noises a fictional rescue team heard while searching for lost campers in the Appalachian Mountains. How spooky is it? Well, given its penchant for human flesh, you don't want to come across the Wendigo during a hike. Many people discount its existence as simply myth, but some allege real-life encounters exist. Yeah, and they're horrible. There's the story of Swift Runner. There's also the story of Swift Runner, a Cree man who reportedly murdered his family in 1879 and blamed the Wendigo for it, though he later recanted and confessed to the murders. Because many people go missing in the wilderness of both Canada and the U.S., the legend of the Wendigo remains a lasting one. And I think the other part of the story of Swift Runner was that he basically at the end of winter kind of made his way to the local town, which was miles and miles from where he was and his family was over the winter. But he showed up and said, "Oh my God, my family's gone," and it was horrible. But everybody noticed that he looked plenty well fed. And so, I mean, he obviously wasn't starving himself. So I think the confession was probably a natural evolution of that, when people went, "Yeah, but you look fine." So, and I'm not laughing because it's funny. It's actually horribly tragic. I just cringe to think that it's possible that a person could do that to their loved ones. Obviously I can't get my head around that, and that's probably a good thing, because if it made sense to me, I'd be more worried about my own state of mind. But at any rate, that's the Wendigo in a nutshell. And look into it if it's not something you're familiar with, because it's plenty horrible, just horrible. So anyway, we're going to go to La Llorona or Laona, however, I think the two L's is a Y, so I'm going to pronounce it that way, La Llorona. And where is it from? That's the picture. God, that's horrible. That's a horrible picture. I mean, it's actually a brilliant picture, but it just looks absolutely terrifying. It says, where's it from? La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is seeped in the folklore of Mexico and other Latin American countries. What's the legend? The legend states that La Llorona was once a beautiful woman named Maria, who either murdered her sons or was careless enough to let them drown, upon which she then drowned herself. She roams as a spirit and wails hauntingly. Mis hijos, ¿dónde están mis hijos? My sons, where are my sons? It's a popular ghost story and finds many modern interpretation in movies like 2019's The Curse of La Llorona, where the cast itself had many supernatural experiences to share. How spooky is it? I don't know what that means, where the cast itself had many supernatural experiences to share. So does that mean I don't know. Does that mean they had actual supernatural things happen as they were filming this, or what? Maybe I should look at that and see what comes up. Oh, it's a video. Oh, we're not doing that. I don't want to get... The Curse of La Llorona cast tells their own ghost stories. I'll tell you what, I'll put that in the chats and anybody can check it out when you so choose to, which I hope is after this show. Don't do it now. But yeah, that looks interesting. So it's in the chats on Rumble and YouTube and Twitch if you guys want to check that out and hear those stories. I'm actually going to leave it open because I want to check it out later too. So I find that very interesting a lot of times. As a side note, I think anytime you're focusing on something, giving it energy, giving it attention, obviously during the creation of a film of this nature or any nature, like The Exorcism or anything, there's always these legendary stories. Amityville Horror, apparently the cast of the original and the remake all had incredibly profound activity going on during the filming of that. And I think it's an old occult principle. And again, if you hear occult, don't get freaked out. That just means hidden. The word occult literally just means hidden. So it doesn't mean evil or satanic or whatever. It just means, it's kind of a, secretive knowledge. But there's a principle basically referred to as magnetism, that when you focus on something, you draw it to you. And I'll be the first to admit, in doing the portal, I've had plenty of weird stuff happen through the years that I can't explain. I'm not for sure saying it's paranormal, but it's odd enough that it's like, it could be paranormal. So does it draw things to us? Maybe. And so by virtue of creating a film, throwing energy into believable, performances, does that draw something to it? Sure, I think it could. So anyway, how spooky is it? Like many other ghost stories. History. The ghost radar says history. When you talk about history, is that what you mean? Huh. It's kind of a relevant word. Maybe. So, as I was saying, folks, when you focus on things, maybe you draw it to you. There you go. Maybe. Could be an inspired word. It could just be a lucky spit out that maybe is relevant. Or it could just be a glitch. I don't know. You be the judge. I'm not trying to convince you of anything here. But that's the ghost radar that spit out that word. And this, on your screen, this is the wavelength that apparently made that. And that is the R flux detection pulse energy. And the bottom one is the wave sensor, which kind of flatlined during that. So I don't necessarily know how to read the graphs, but I know that these spikes mean that there's definitely an energy shift or EM shift of some kind. So there you go in real time. Glenn the ghost glitch. Maybe. I kind of wanted to bring a Ouija board out and other meditation stuff to see what happens. I would not encourage that, Jason, unless you really know what you're doing. I'll get to that after this article, though. But I do want to visit that with you because I would caution anybody to be careful. 99% of the time, nothing probably will happen. But on the chance that it does, it could be the start of something ugly. So be careful. Be careful when you poke the bear, because sometimes the bear wakes up, is all I'm going to say. Until later, we'll get into it a little more. How spooky is it? Like many other ghost stories, the tale of La Llorona makes a memorable cautionary tale for children, warning them from straying too near water or slipping out at night. It's a spooky thought for a mother to kill her children. Yeah, that's horrifying. and then decide to kill more because she wants what she so carelessly lost. Many people claim to have heard her crying and wailing, and the legend continues. Yeah, it does. Yeah. The other one is, what is the other one? I'm trying to think. La Llorona and the Bruja, and I think there's another one. But anyway, there's a lot of cultural references in Hispanic history or folklore to these wraiths or witches or other things like that. And I hate to use the term witches because I don't think it's one and the same. I think they mean like crones or, other supernatural beings that look like old women. All right, so here was one that looks like it comes from, by the name, it looks like it comes from Japan. And I'm going to just guesstimate how to pronounce this, so please forgive me. Kuchisake Ona is the next one. And that looks horrifying. It looks like a beautiful woman, but that's definitely not the kind of, you don't want to crack that kind of smile. Where is it from? The Kuchisake Ona is part of Japanese folklore and urban legend. Movies like Carved, The Slit-Mouthed Woman, present the legend in a more modern format. Supposedly, the Kuchisake Ona was once a beautiful woman who was mutilated, but the lore varies. Some sources say her samurai husband punished her for having lovers, while others state another woman disfigured her in a fit of jealousy. Either way, her mouth is slashed to either ear, inside of which are sharp teeth. Yeah, you don't want to see that smile. Legend has it that she stops passers-by, asking them if she is beautiful. If they say yes, she then shows her scar and asks the same question again. If they say yes again, she disfigured them like she is, and then if they say no or gasp in shock, she kills them. Well, that's a horrifying thing. According to some tellings of the tale, the only way to safely escape from the Kuchisake Ona is to confuse her with an ambiguous or vague reply to her questions. How spooky is it? The idea of meeting a mutilated woman at night who either disfigures or kills you is a frightening thought. She commits her violence with scissors or a knife, so there's the added horror of that, plus she typically targets children. Why? Why the kids? Now, this is a new one. Black anise. I don't know, anise or anise. I thought, isn't anise the seeds for black licorice? Where is it from? Black anise is part of English folklore, likely to have originated in Leicester. I think that's pronounced Leicester. Sorry if it's not. I mean, they got that sauce, Worcestershire. So I don't know how to pronounce this. I think it's Leicester, though. She is sometimes called Black Anna or Black Agnes in what's legend. Although many tellings and retellings exist, her origin story leads to reclusive Dominican nun Agnes Scott. After her 1455 passing, her spirit is said to have gone to the Dane Hills in Leicester, where she carved out a cave and with her long talons. The cave is known as the Black Anise Bower. Other stories have likened her to a pagan goddess. In either way, she's imagined as a blue hag with sharp claws and a penchant for gobbling children. Again, children, come on. I guess this is how you keep your kids in at night. You just keep stacking these stories on them. I mean, that's the wood booger, the Zonoqua of the Pacific Northwest tribes. You know, where you got to watch out for Zonoqua. She'll come and throw you in her basket and take you up into the mountains. You'll never be seen. So it's like every culture, every it's like maybe a lot of bad parenting. I don't know. But yeah, you rule your kids through fear. Other stories have likened her to a pagan goddess. Either way, she's imagined as a blue hag with sharp claws and a penchant for gobbling children. Although she is sometimes referred to as a witch, there are no spells or cauldrons about. Well, guess she likes them. She doesn't cook them then, right? That was creepy. How spooky is it? After eating children, Black Annis purportedly hangs their skins to dry and then stitches them into clothes for herself. She's still believed to haunt the Church of St. Mary de Castro in Leicester Castle. Whether true or false, these lasting legends are definitely good for tourism in Leicester. Okay. The photos from Doom Patrol, the DC universe. Yeah. I've not seen that, obviously. Looks like a really ugly Wolverine, though. All right. That's pretty creepy. Baba Yaga. Baba Yaga, that's another one. Dealing with kids and, a horrible old crone. Anyway, where's it from? Part of Slavic folklore, the legend of Baba Yaga exists throughout Eastern Europe, countries like Russia, Ukraine, Hungary, Poland, and Bulgaria. What is the legend? In common lore, Baba Yaga is a typical wicked witch. She's a hag who lives in a creepy house that walks on chicken legs, and she likes to feed on children. They all do. Bunch of sick bastards. She does all sorts of sorcery, and parents often use her as a cautionary tale to warn children from straying too far in the woods, and even not going to bed on time. Oh, that's horrible. You're not going to bed? Okay, I'm calling Baba Yaga. That is just terrible. That said, modern interpretations see her as one of the most feminist characters in folklore. New spin-offs have emerged since then, and like Into the Forest, a short story collection. Even John Wick is called Baba Yaga in the eponymous film franchise, giving the assassin mythical proportions. How spooky is it? Folklore states that Baba Yaga often travels with death. Yeah, I mean, if she eats kids, clearly, freeing souls as she goes. She likes to cook and eat children in her cauldron, and her house is fenced in with skulls and bones, so it's fair to say she's definitely the stuff of nightmares are made of. Yeah, clearly. Here's ghouls. All right, this is a little different. This looks more spectral. But let's see what it's going. Where's it from? Part of Arabic, Bedouin, and Berber folklore. Ghouls find mentions in countries with Arabian or Islamic roots. What's the legend? Ghouls are demonic beings that inhabit burial grounds and are considered part of the jinn or jinn family. The jinn or jinn family. They typically appear as women and lure travelers to their death, after which they feast on human flesh. And in the TV series Supernatural, Sam gets attacked by a ghoul. Not that we see it much. To save yourself from one, you must respond to the Islamic adhan, called a prayer, and, if need be, converts to Islam to escape the religion's demons. How spooky is it? The folklore of the ghoul and the jinn is more of a religious cautionary tale showing people what happens when they're not devout in their faith. That said, these cannibalistic boogeymen are enough to send a chill down anyone's spine, religious or not. That's plenty creepy. How we doing? We're at 8:07. Okay. Huh. I made a Baba Yaga cartoon where her chicken leg hutch was rented out as an RV in a camping trailer rental place. Well, that's creative as hell, Rachel. Huh. Yeah, John Temperance says, a woman you didn't bring home to meet mom. Yeah, definitely not. I'd stay there for bragging rights. Barbara, you're a machine. All right, here we go. The chupacabra. Where is it from? The name is Spanish and translates to goat sucker. The legend of the chupacabra exists throughout North and Central America. What's the legend? As the name suggests, the chupacabra is a vampiric creature that sucks the blood of animals, not just goats, and kills them. It's described in some legends as dog-like and as reptilian in others. Many scientists believe mange-stricken canids, like coyotes, are mistaken for chupacabras because the infection causes the skin to shrivel. It can explain the skeleton-like appearance along with visible canine teeth mistaken for canine or vampiric fangs. How spooky is it? Anything that goes bump in the night is scary enough, and if there's an added vampiric element, it's even scarier. Sadly, it's perhaps more terrifying for the disease-stricken animal than any human who spots it. Today, the chupacabra is likely to exist as an imprint on your t-shirts than in the forests or fields. Are you sure about that? Maybe so. But that's been a journey through at least half the list. I'll probably read the other half tomorrow night. We got Jimmy coming on tomorrow night, I think. And if that happens, that'll be nice. I don't mind the solo shows. They're fine, but it's always nice to have someone to talk to. Not that I can't talk to you guys, but it's hard to hear you from here. So we are going to get into the cryptids next, because that's how we roll here in the portal, and it's after 8. Wow. I already spent an hour. Are you guys having fun? You enjoying this? I sure hope so. Let's see. So we're going to go to the cryptids next, and this time we are going to... Oops, I closed the wrong window. We're going to start with this one, yeah. So I got one here. One here from Sasquatch Chronicles, so we're going to get to that one first. So I hope you guys are ready, because it's time for the Cryptid Corner. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cryptid Corner. This is our final segment of the show. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Aussie. Thank you. I hope all you guys are enjoying yourselves. But if not, feel free to fill out one of the complaint forms. I'm not sure where they are, but if you find it, let me know. And put it in the bin. All right. Yeah, that's Grumpy Owl's awesome intro. Yeah, she did that. By the way, for those of you that are new to the show, the news intro and outro was made by Mr. Wes of Sasquatch Chronicles. This guy is very, very talented. He's one of those guys that can do a lot, and he's a great guy too. So, all right, let's get to this. We're going to go to Sasquatch Chronicles blog, and this again is more of an announcement for an upcoming show, but it sounds like a really, really good one. And, I hope you guys check it out. Listen to the whole thing. This is just a snippet of it. But anyway, we're going to start here. Again, SasquatchChronicles.com. Definitely visit it. Check it out. Support what Wes is doing. Well, everybody knows his podcast, but not everybody knows about the blog and the website. And certainly you can become a member over there and get an additional episode every week, plus a hell of a big back catalog of extra episodes. So if you love Sasquatch Chronicles, you probably want to get involved. All right, we're going to go to May 9th, upcoming show, Cowboys and Sasquatch. What was that movie, Cowboys and the Aliens? I actually liked that movie. I thought that was really kind of neat. It was a weird take, but it was kind of fun. I don't know. It was when I go to movies, not that you care, but I'm going to tell you anyway because I got a microphone and I got to talk. Good music too, yeah. I when I go to movies, I don't like to watch a lot of movies that are based on real life because real life is already heavy enough. And even if they're, I don't even want to say based on real life because the embellishment of based on a true story is just insane. It's just insane. Oftentimes the created video or movie is so far removed from the truth that it's an incredible statement of fiction. But like, and I use this as an example all the time, but it's like Cocaine Bear, the newer movie that was out a while ago, and a lot of people saw it, and it seems pretty sensational, based on the story of a bear finding a duffel bag that was thrown out of a plane before it crashed of some smugglers who were being chased by narcotic agents. And they dumped a big duffel bag full of cocaine, and it fell into the forest. And sure enough, a bear found it.
Jalisco.
What does that say? I don't even know what that word means. Jalisco. Jalisco. I guess we're going to find out. What the hell is Jalisco? What is, quote, Jalisco? Oh, it's a Mexican state. That's interesting. We were just talking about the chupacabra. Wow. Jalisco is a western Mexican state Fringing the Pacific Ocean, the state is known for mariachi music and tequila, both of which reportedly originated there. Well, there you go. So that I didn't know about Jalisco before now, but I know now. That's what the Ghost Radar just said. That's if you like tequila, give a nod to Jalisco, Mexico. Very cool. All right. Sometimes this thing's just bizarre. Huh. Okay. Right next to Tabasco. Is that true, John? I don't know. Or is that I know there's a Tabasco, but I don't know if it's near Jalisco. Maybe it is. Coke Squatch. So anyway, the true story of Cocaine Bear is not that it got into cocaine and went on this big killing spree and terrorized a bunch of people. It actually ate a bunch of cocaine in the duffel bag and traveled about 100 feet and fell over from a massive heart attack and died. That was the whole real true story of Cocaine Bear. It was a real bear. It really did find cocaine. It really did eat the cocaine. It did not go on a killing spree or terrorizing people spree. It just ate cocaine and went about 100 feet and died. So that's what based on a true story looks like in Hollywood. It was based on it, and then they just went to town making all kinds of crazy stuff up. The Coke sharks are real. Well, maybe they are. I don't know. Could be. I'm not sure. But I know that Cocaine Bear was real, but it really wasn't that story. Just the first part. So anyway, that's what I like to cover. But anyway, Cowboys and Sasquatch. A listener writes, I live in Idaho and my property borders Wyoming. I grew up always wondering if Bigfoot was real. My dad always joked about Bigfoot, but at a young age, I feel that he was just trying to keep me close to camp. As I grew older and began hunting on my own at 12 years of age, I can honestly say that I never had any odd experiences until I was 19 years of age. When I was 19, my high school buddies and I went on a pack trip deep into the Wyoming wilderness. And this was the first time I experienced the reality of Bigfoot. I actually shared this experience with W.J. Sheehan, and he published it in one of his books. It wasn't until years later that I started putting two and two together and realized that I had experienced numerous instances that I always ruled out as just being bears or moose. I have no doubt that Bigfoot exists, and I was within 10 feet of one several years ago. I can honestly say that I was scared to death. Spoke to the witness, this is Wes now, and he describes this trip he was on when he was 19 years old, and everyone was on horseback, and one of his friends was pulled out of his sleeping bag one night. Every day the trip seemed to get stranger and stranger, and the witness said, I thought we were being stalked by a human. Yeah, wow. That's crazy. I just can't imagine the terror of being yanked out of your sleeping bag. For one, I mean, let's say these kids are 19 years old. That's basically a full-grown man. So it's not like pulling a toddler or a small child. This is maybe 150, 180, maybe 200-pound person. I don't know how big these people are. But that's not easy to do. It's not easy to drag a big person like that. And I don't know the specifics of being dragged out of that sleeping bag. But I don't, if they were in a tent or just sleeping out rough under the stars, I don't know. But in any case, that's a hell of a thing to drag a grown person around. It's no small feat. It can be done by a normal person, but you really got to get a hold of them. And it's not like it's an instant thing like, boom. But again, I don't know the specifics. I have to listen to this to hear that. But it's also it's got to be incredibly terrifying because something felt comfortable enough to come that close and then to physically engage you. And what would be next? Let's say it continued. Let's say it went worse. I mean, anything could follow that. Anything could follow that. I could pick you up and slam you into a tree and it's game over. I don't know. It's just absolutely terrifying. There are a lot of people that's, of course, and I don't begrudge them this. I hope they're right. I really do. I hope that they're right, that Bigfoot are these wise, wonderful caretakers of the natural world, in some form or another. They're the forest brothers, if you will. And I think that there's certainly enough encounters out there that are positive to suggest that that's the case in some cases. However, there's also the other side of the spectrum, and I think I really have to reiterate this. I forgot to revisit the Ouija thing, didn't I? I'll revisit it at the end of the show. I'm sorry. I did forget about that. But I do think that, there are people out there, and this is something I say quite regularly on the show. There are people out there that'll bend over backwards, give you their shirt off their back. They will give you every piece of coin or money that they have in order to help somebody. They are just that loving and that caring. There's another side of the spectrum of human beings that are absolutely, they would as soon drive a spike in your back as look at you. I mean, there's a full spectrum. Dark Waters, brother, welcome, man. Good to see you. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that. That is wonderful. I did get your email. I did respond to that. I know that you're always busy, but yeah, it's an honor to have you here. Then, thank you so much for coming in. Everybody, Dark Waters, of course, from Dark Waters channel on YouTube. That's another icon in the field. It's been at it forever, and I got to tell you, since I'm talking to you now, I kind of cut my teeth in the paranormal listening to you and Wes and a few other people regularly back in the day. And you've continued to do amazing and do incredible things. So appreciate you stopping in, man. That means a lot. Thank you. But I think that Bigfoot is as diverse as we are in many regards. I don't think that they're human beings necessarily, and I don't think that their intelligence is the same as ours. But I think that there's enough biodiversity and descriptions of Bigfoot to suggest that there's, possibly other, I don't know if this is the right word, but phenotypes of them. But it could be just that they're as varied physically as we are, but they're also the psychology aspect of it, that perhaps behaviorally they are as diverse as we are. And, so I think it's one of those things that it's okay to hope to see a Bigfoot, but at the same time, do you know which one you're going to see? Which version? And that's the part that I think is terrifying. You go out looking for things. You might find it, but you might not find the exact thing you were looking for. So that's my cautionary tale. Again, it's all speculation. Nobody really knows, but there's enough information out there of people's reports, of their experiences, to suggest that there's both types out there, and probably everything in between. There's one might be just having a bad day, a little more grumpy, but they're okay usually. So that's my take on Bigfoot in a nutshell. Take it or leave it. Believe what you want. I don't ever do these shows with the idea that, I want you to believe one thing or the other. You just, believe whatever you feel is right. But those are my takes. Hi, Maggie. Good to see you. Good to see you coming in. Thank you. But let's continue, because that's it for Sasquatch Chronicles. Special thanks to Wes again. Yeah, that's going to be an epic show. So again, check it out. Cowboys and Sasquatch. I'm not sure when it's going to be released, but it could be this weekend. So watch for that. All of his shows are bangers, so you can't really miss. Let's get to some more. Now we're going to jump to Phantoms and Monsters. Lon Strickler, again, another one of those pillars, like Dark Waters and Wes, and Lon Strickler's been at it for a long time. He's got, his site is phantomsandmonsters.com. It's an incredible site if you're into reports of encounters, of people having experiences. Lon has been at this for decades. They also have research efforts that are affiliated with Phantoms and Monsters. He's got a community of people that do research around the nation. And I think when we were talking to him when he was on the show, I asked him, is it national or international? And he kind of implied that he was moving towards an international efforts on these research parts of his site and their work. So that's really exciting as well, that there's going to be more. I think, the more people that are looking into this stuff, the better. It's also a great site to find out about Lon's published works, and of course his podcast, which is also on YouTube, and that's Phantoms and Monsters Radio. And you can find Lon on Facebook. He's a very prolific poster, and he posts oftentimes in the Paranormal Portal fans page. He's a great friend. He's been on the show. I love talking to Lon, and special thanks to him for letting us use the site. So, where is it? Let me see if I got the right one here. There we go. All right, so we're going to go to some Bigfoot report right off the bat from phantomsandmonsters.com. And this one is from Friday, April 26th, 2024. I've had this one open for a while. But, when accounting for time, again, I don't come into these shows with a plan. So, Con Squatch, good to see you. Thanks for coming in, man. Oh, you like that snapping plastic, by the way? Yeah, I should get a tumbler or something. I just drank too many waters during the course of a show, so it's like I just got to crack new ones. I'd need to go and refill if I had a tumbler. But I guess, Anyway, so if you don't mind the obnoxious snapping of plastic, it's just me making sure I can continue to read for you guys. All right, so Friday, April 26, 2024. Here it is, brown gorilla-like creature witnessed in Wayne, New Jersey. Now, a lot of people hear New Jersey and they're like, New Jersey? What do you mean? There's no Sasquatch over there. There's a lot of wildlands in New Jersey. The Pine Barrens are huge. There's a lot of actual Bigfoot research going on in the Pine Barrens. There's a lot of reports coming out of there of people encountering Bigfoot-like beings. So it's not just the Jersey Devil, although there's that too, along with a whole bunch of stuff. The Pine Barrens are really a very large place. And so, sure, there's New Jersey, the city, but there's also the greater New Jersey, which is surprisingly very forested and feral, I guess. It's a feral place. Not in a bad way, but it is still, they still have a lot of wonderful beauty and natural resources over there. So it's not hard to believe there'd be Bigfoot there. Again, the only state, as far as the BFRO is concerned, that doesn't have claims of Bigfoot activity is Hawaii. So I think it's fair to say that they're probably everywhere. All right, so here we go. Brown gorilla-like creature witnessed in Wayne, New Jersey. I don't know if Wayne is a big community or what. I'm not really familiar, so I apologize. Okay, here we go. The eyewitness lived in Wayne, New Jersey, only 20 miles from downtown New York City. That's not far. One summer, he and others witness, a brown gorilla-like creature in a tree nearby. Lon says, I received the following account. Hi, Lon. This occurred around 1998-99 to a close friend of mine who just recently brought it up again, which compelled me to write it in. I usually don't like to recount other people's stories, but my friend would never be the type to share this experience with you or any other individual he didn't personally know, so here I am. I'm glad this person did this because you just think about that. How many stories are out there that'll never be shared? They'll never be told. And what do these people witness that maybe nobody's ever seen before? Again, I think these anecdotal stories are a treasure because they do give us a glimpse, providing they're real. And we can't know that, but just argue, for the sake of argument, this story is absolutely going to be real. Something is witnessed here that this person saw, and they may see something. I mean, everybody that recounts witnessing an event will give you a slightly different account because they saw things a little differently. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong or otherwise. It just means that everybody has their observational skills, and it's possible somebody notices some small detail nobody's seen before. And these anecdotal stories really give us an incredibly robust cross-section and behavioral insight on what these things do. So don't discount stories. Stories are very powerful, and they do give us an opportunity to learn. Again, take it or leave it, you believe it or not, but there is an opportunity to learn. My friend's family lived on a busy street in Wayne, New Jersey. Behind the house was a pool and a deck with a yard and a wooden area beyond. One summer afternoon, he and his brother and his mother were sitting around the pool on the deck when they heard an unusual rustling up in a tree on the fringe of the wooded area. Looking up, they saw what my friend described as a large, brown, gorilla-like creature. Yeah, not real common in New Jersey. Just saying. It was perched on a branch while vigorously shaking another smaller branch above it, which was causing the loud ruffling sound that had caught their attention. As they stared at this thing dumbfounded, they were close enough to realize that it was staring right back at them as it shook the branch. It's gotta feel horrible. I just try to personify myself in these stories as I read them. How do you feel if you look up and you see that thing's looking at you and it's obviously agitated? I mean, that's gotta be a humbling experience. Then after about a minute, it dissolved into the treetops deeper into the woods. It was the summer, so they quickly lost sight of it among the dense foliage and didn't dare trail it into the woods due to the freakiness of it all. Yeah, best not to. The next day, I was invited over to hang out and go swimming at this pool. And that's when he told me what had happened the previous day. As he was telling me, he pointed out the tree and the branch on which the gorilla appeared. It was a towering tulip poplar. I don't know what that looks like, but it sounds like a big tree. And the branch, which he pointed out, had to be about 50 to 55 feet high. I asked him why they didn't call the police, and he said that if they ever saw it again, they would. To this day, my friend will say that he and his family still do not know what it was, but in the same breath, he'll also say it had to be a guy in a gorilla suit because there was no other explanation. If it were a guy in a gorilla suit, he would have been extraordinarily athletic since he was able to climb roughly 50 feet up a bare trunk and acrobatically maneuver from tree to tree. I also asked him if it could have been someone's pet monkey. It says it's a gorilla, not a monkey. I mean, monkeys are small. But he said it was too big and it was definitely either an ape or a person dressed like one. There are no zoos remotely close from which a gorilla could have escaped. And if there was such an animal on the loose, I'm sure it would have been big news. I suppose we'll never know who or what was in the treetops of Wayne that day. And this is Lon's note at the bottom. Wayne is in Passaic County, New Jersey, less than 20 miles from Midtown, New York City. That being said, you cannot rule out that this may have been a Bigfoot-like being since there are several fair-sized wooded areas in the vicinity. Yeah, exactly. And I think probably with the proliferation of people, and this is, again, wild speculation on my part, but bear with me. Of course, who wouldn't? Why wouldn't a guy be in a tree? Good point, Tommy. I mean, what better place to be? In a gorilla suit, of course. That's how you get the Darwin Awards. That's exactly how. But with the proliferation and expansion of us into the natural places of our world, I mean, we've got to be displacing these things at an incredible rate. And so I think it's probably fair to say that maybe they use that to their advantage because they still are incredibly adept and capable of utilizing the wild places wherever they are. And I'm sure that they don't live in the cities per se. Well, I'm not sure, but I think it's less likely. But I think they may go into those places in the night or in the later parts of the day when it's heading towards night, because our society is wasteful. We throw stuff away at an alarming rate, and this is the low-hanging fruit to a being that has to have a pretty robust caloric need. To be that big, they've got to need quite a big calorie load every day. Well, I'm sure our food is just like heaven. Our Franken food, but it's full of carbs and sugars and such like that I'm sure is like rocket fuel to them. So why wouldn't they? Yeah. Anyway, good story. And yeah, it's fascinating. Even in New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen. Even in New Jersey. So let's go to the next one from Phantoms and Monsters when it loads. It's another Sasquatch one. I got to see what I have up here. I've got several. Tree people. Yeah, we're going to get to that one too. That one sounded interesting. And I don't know if that's a metaphor for Sasquatch, because they blend in so well with the trees. Are they called tree people someplace or not? I don't know. But I keep thinking of Ents when I saw the headline. I was like, ooh, is it Ents? It's from Lord of the Rings or whatever. Anyway, I'm just being stupid. But let's look at this one. This one is from April 28th, 2024. Sasquatch destroys Pierce County, Washington resident's property. It includes photos, so we'll check that out. Let's see what it says. A Washington resident who lives near Fort Lewis McChord Army Base comments on the activity of their Sasquatch neighbor. For some reason, the Sasquatch destroyed property. And again, photos included. This visitor became a regular thing, taking apples, pears, plums, corn, pomegranates. My hairy friend was prowling around at night at 2 a.m. in the morning. While just 2 days later, the first building was literally crushed from above. See the photo. No, not elk, no hoof prints, just flat out crushed it, leaving the one beside it intact and untouched. The next day, the other one was crushed from all the outside walls inward. Yeah, I did not like those huts. Wow. There's the photos. So the next day, this one was crushed, but this was the first day, I guess. My hairy friend is usually a regular, but Fort Lewis McChord Army Base has been exceedingly active this spring with mortar and howitzer fire, helicopter squadron flights and jumps where they have team maneuvers going down ropes and mock battles. It shakes windows and disturbs the dogs, and I still leave out the goodies, but the visits are now almost a week apart until those trainees and troops are deployed. But I'm faithful in my treats, and all my stuff is totally untouched. Yeah, again, that's habituation, I think, is, I mean, I understand the desire to create a peaceful experience, but I've heard so many of the horror stories. When Bear was on from the Bigfoot Outlaws, he talked about that quite a bit. And of course, throughout the course of the years of doing the show, we've covered tons of those stories where people were habituating. And what habituating is, for any of you that don't know, it's the idea that you leave out items. Most commonly, people leave out foods like peanut butters and things like that. And it's fine. I would just suggest if you do it someplace well away from where you live, because you don't want them taking out their rage on you if there's ever any reason. Bear told us a few stories through the years of people that had habituated them. And one guy was an old guy, and he would every day leave out food. Well, then the day came where he got ill and had to go in the hospital. Well, nobody else knew about it or was willing to continue the practice. And apparently this guy's outbuildings were just destroyed when there was no food. Like, they throw incredible tantrums when they don't get what they're expecting. And I think it's, he also raised some really cautionary possibilities, and I think it's a great thing to consider. One, what does our food do to their systems? Because really, our food is incredibly processed, full of chemicals, sugars, and as mentioned before. And that may be hell on their system. We don't know about their physiology. We don't know how our foods affect them. And secondly, let's say, you leave out sweets and stuff like that. What if they have allergies? What if they have like peanut allergies or something like that? Or God only knows. Well, you're killing them then. And what if they get a nasty, cavity from all of the sweet crap that you're feeding them? Well, they can't just run to a dentist. I mean, there's no opportunity. So they're probably going to get a nasty infection, lose a tooth, or get a horrible abscess. And God only knows. I mean, you could be killing them again. So I think food items, maybe apples, fruits like that are probably okay if it's going to be foods, but stay away from, sweet rolls and donuts and stuff like that. Candy. I talked to one guy years ago who fed him Reese's Cups. He called them Reese's Cups. And I was just like, oh, my God. It's not like they can brush their teeth, folks. So, I imagine it's as hard on their enamel as it is on ours. But anyway, good story. I'd be very cautious about habituating. A lot of people habituate using rocks, beads, things like that. And they're gifted things back, allegedly. I think that's very interesting. And that's a much, much safer bet. Because they're probably not going to destroy your stuff if you don't leave them a new necklace or something. Or beads or marbles or whatever. So just things to consider. Just things to consider. All right, let's go to the next one. And this is the tree people. Have you seen the tree people of the Shenandoah Valley? And this is from May 3rd, 2024. How are we doing for time? Yeah, we got about 20 minutes left. I don't know how long this is. It's kind of long, actually. This might be the rest of the show. Yeah, this is going to be the rest of the show. It's a robust tale, folks. All right, have you seen the tree people of the Shenandoah Valley? I'm posting 3 different accounts describing the tree people of the Shenandoah Valley. Who or what are they? Is it just a legend? Or are there clans of tree-dwelling feral people? Oh, okay. I received the following account. Oh, hold on, I got a cough. I had this old man telling me this story about the tree people in the Shenandoah Valley and described them as long, lanky humanoids made of roots and moss and other foliage that secrete. It says secret, but I think maybe that's secrete. I thought there was an E at the end of secrete. Yeah, I think there is. Secrete a sweet and acrid smelling sappy substance. He said they can climb into things through their mouths and puppet them after consuming their souls. Oh, that's horrible. That they only possess things to feed on other things. Oh, okay. He says he swears that that he and a buddy went out hunting one summer when he was like 19, and they saw this deer chewing just above the grass and not actually eating anything, just chewing on air, and that the eye that they could see was looking directly at them in the blind a little ways off. The eye was unnatural for a deer, mostly white with a ring of very pale blue and a large pupil. The other hunter was freaked out a little and wanted to leave, so they packed up, but when they exited the blind, the deer was closer, just chewing and staring. He said the other hunter couldn't stop staring at the thing, and it wasn't running, so he approached it. When the hunter got close enough to touch it, a long, stickly black arm slowly stretched out of the deer's mouth and started caressing the guy's face. Oh my God, that's nightmare fuel. What the hell? The dude who told me the story said the other hunter hit the ground after being touched and started convulsing while the thing kept climbing out of the deer and touching the dude. He said it shot at the deer. He said it shot at the deer like 2 or 3 times and it ran off. He said it shot at the deer. I don't know what that means. And then he got his buddy to the hospital and he ended up not remembering anything. The doctor had said he had some sort of freak seizures. Lon says, I don't know what to make of the previous account, but I received another account in 2021 that referenced the Shenandoah Valley tree, it says free people, but tree people. My friend in this story and I am still friends to this day. He grew up in the mountains, living off the land in Grayson County, Virginia. And he and his family are recognized as members of the Pamunkey Native American Nation. Once, I had a knot deer encounter in the woods in his backyard. And knot deer is an interesting name. And it basically is talking about deer that seem to walk around bipedally as well, and it's very unusual. Very creepy. I'm not sure what to make of it, but I'm just filling you in on some of the background here. He explained it to me that it was a manifestation of a forest spirit, similar to what the Slavs call a lashe. It's amazing the things this man knows about. Really, he's just a wealth of knowledge and a great human being. So we're working construction on the outskirts of Harrisonburg, Virginia, Shenandoah Valley, when the weekend came and we decided to go stop by his cousin Lee's land way out in the mountains, several winding dirt roads off of Highway 33. Now let me tell you, Cousin Lee's got an old school mountain cabin, still heated by wood-burning stove, and also Cousin Lee's very simple, as a result of a childhood head trauma, and he's by no means dumb, just like Sling Blade simple. So we're over there having a good time grilling some deer he shot inside the mountain, and I noticed padlocks on what appeared to be refuse bins. Of course, I inquired, and the response I got was, "Them MFers will dig in my trash and throw stuff everywhere if I don't lock it." Cousin Lee burned what he could and took the remains to the dump. Very common practice in the area. So I'm assuming he's talking about raccoons, and the man is simple, so he's being overly dramatic. We went in to eat, and no one put a lock back on the refuse bin, which had the remainder of the deer carcass in it. Well, dinner went by without a hitch, and after cleaning up, we decided to sit down and smoke some mountain grass. I'll bet you did. We were smoking out, no alcohol, and having a good old time playing old records of bands like Led Zeppelin, etc., when all of a sudden we heard a loud thud on the roof, followed by 2 quick steps and then silence. I have no idea what just happened. I just know I'm scared, and Cousin Lee exclaims, "It's them! They better not be in my trash!" and goes into his room and comes out with a shotgun. My friend, we'll call him Jay, grabs these 2 handcrafted walking sticks out of the corner. I'm still oblivious, but my friend Jay and his cousin Lee are headed to the back door like this is some routine. I then witness Jay bust out the door, first with the 2 big sticks, waving them in the air while making just strange growl-like noises. After Jay gets about 10 feet out the door, out comes Lee with the shotgun, but he's waving it above his head, making the same crazy growling noise. At this point, excuse me, I'm just too curious about the situation, and I head for the door. When I got to the door, the pungent odor of bear crap, I poke my head out the door, and I see this hairy man dressed in tattered rags and caked with mud, trying to gather the deer parts from the refuse bin. I look up, and there's another one on top of the shed, but he's perched almost like a gargoyle, wearing what appeared to be a tattered vest. Well, I'm drowning in awe of the situation. My mind is unable to fully process what's going on. I let out a scream. Well, this seemed to upset the trash digger, and he started banging a piece of deer he had in his hand on the side of the refuse bin. Excuse me, sorry about that. Spring allergies, I guess. Cousin Lee took the shotgun down and fired a shot, and they took off. What was really horrifying was apparently there was one on the roof behind all of our backs. I saw it coming overhead, and it landed on the shed the other one was on, and then in a single bound leaped into the tree. He successfully ran off with a piece of the deer as well. Sorry, my eyes are tearing up. It's not an emotional story. It's just allergies. Now here comes the really crazy part, the explanation. Cousin Lee says, "You never want to shoot one. They got a mighty big clan, and they will come if you get one of their own. Warning shot always scares them off." I just bust out, "What was that?" The response I got was, "The tree people." Apparently, people have been gone into the forest and lived and survived and ended up clanning up with others living in the woods. And this has been going on for a long time, and they've lived several generations in the wilderness as feral people. Apparently, they steal clothing on the line tools, anything they can get their hands on, and they also enjoy messing with people. Oh, and apparently, they live in the trees, thus why they're called locally the tree people. That'll do it. And here's another account. Here's another account I received in 2021 from the West Virginia mountains. A woman from Gary, West Virginia, describes her encounters with a clan of feral people on her property. The descriptions are of dirty, barefoot, hairy, mutated humans that can leap through the trees. Yikes. I live in West Virginia, and I have all my life. I don't come from a rich family, and I'm not rich myself. I live in a small, single-wide trailer with my 2-year-old son outside of the town of Gary in McDowell County. My boyfriend is a truck driver and is only home every so often. I'm kind of used to being alone and with my son here at night. My closest neighbor is 3 miles away, and my trailer is back in the woods. This is a mountain town. I grew up hearing scary stories of monsters, but I never saw anything growing up. Never saw anything until now, and I want to tell you about it. What people are talking about is most definitely what is stalking us here, because I know it's not a Sasquatch. I never saw a Sasquatch, but I think I would know if I ever saw one. So this just started last summer. I clean houses for a living, and I was leaving the last house of the day and had just gone to pick up my son from the babysitter, and we headed back home. It was 8 o'clock exactly, and we turned in the driveway. My driveway is a very long sand driveway surrounded by trees and the woods on both sides. I hadn't even gotten to my house when I saw a man jump from one tree on the right side of the driveway to a tree on the left side of the driveway. I mean like 30 feet in the air. He just jumped like how a monkey swings from trees. He did this in front of the car as I was still driving slowly to get to the trailer. It's bumpy sand on the driveway, so I never go more than 10 miles per hour down it. At that moment, I wasn't sure what I saw, but I did know it was a man. I saw its skin, and it had some torn cloth on it too. Arms, legs, all of that a man would have. Did not see its face, but I hit my brakes. My son is still in the back seat, almost asleep, and I didn't question what I saw or try to make sense of it because I knew it was some creature. Yes, I was scared. My first thought was my son. I only stopped there in the driveway for a second, and then I went ahead and sped up to go on and get down the driveway so I could get in the house with my son. I'm passing those trees to my left, and I'm just looking around to see if it's there. I don't see anything. I just keep on going. And it's about dark, but I can still see. I see my trailer around the corner up ahead, and I see movement. Okay, let me add here that it's not that uncommon for some deer or other animals to be around the trailer. That's normal. But there were people up ahead, and one of them was in my trash bag. I don't have trash service way out here, so I sometimes will leave a bag of trash on my porch and haul it myself to the dump. So a man was all in my trash. I get closer and these people hear my car, and my headlights are lighting up the front area of the house, and I see like 4 of these things run off into the woods. I saw one of them really well, but it was his face that really got me scared. That thing had dirt or mud all over his face. And there was something wrong with his face because it didn't look right to me. His eyes were way up on his forehead. And it had this humpback. It had some dark pants on, but no shirt. And the chest and back had a lot of brown hair. It says his nipples were huge. Okay. And dark, and I could see it through the hair. He was barefoot, and this was the one digging in my trash bag. And he ran off too, but he didn't seem to be in such a rush as the other ones were to get back into the woods. I lost sight of them all, and I waited there before I went any further because of my son. I didn't have a gun or anything on me, so I was just being careful. I sat in my car for 20 minutes, running idle before I drove up on the house. I grabbed my son and we ran inside because of no cell signal down my driveway. And I called my uncle once I got inside. My uncle said I was seeing weird stuff, but he came out there an hour later and looked around. Lord, I was so scared while I had my son sat there waiting for my uncle. My uncle got here, and he's a big guy and had weapons on him. He investigated. He came back in from the front door, white as a ghost. He came in and said he'd seen the devil in those woods, and that we were getting in his truck with my son and we're getting the hell out of there. We never called the police or anything. What were we going to tell the police? That was last summer. The winter came and nothing. Then just this past March, when my boyfriend was home, we heard scratching at 11 at night on the side of the trailer. A metal sound. He went outside to look, but there wasn't anything there, but he smelled an odor that he described as rotten pig feet. If you eat pig feet, then you know what I mean. We smell bad things a lot, and we see things moving in the trees, but now my boyfriend will be moving us to another state because of his job, and we only have a few more weeks here, but there are some wild clans in the West Virginia mountains. Yikes. That's a whole bucket of creepy. I don't know. I just keep thinking of that X-Files episode where that family was out in the wilds all by themselves and very inbred, and they were all kinds of broken. So maybe it's something like that. There's an old saying, the truth is stranger than fiction. So could that be the case, that this is just a long line of very inbred people that kind of branched off on their own aspect of sapien, and they're just something different? I don't know. It's strange to consider, but it's hard to say. I've heard that metal sound. Yeah, that's got to be creepy. Hi, everyone. Boy, did I just catch the tail's end? You did, Eric. I just finished that one, but it's a good series of stories of these tree people from West Virginia. And the article, again, to bring it up. Have you seen the tree people of the Shenandoah Valley? So there you go. That's from phantomsandmonsters.com. I can put the link in if any of you just joined and want to read the whole thing. Let me do that, because it's important to get the whole story, or you can just watch the replay and catch what you missed. But in any case, very cool story. Let me put it over in Rumble as well. There it is. It's posted. But I'll tell you what, there's all kinds of strangeness, and by God, we cover as much of it as we can. Oh, the Peacock family episode titled Family, I think. Is that what it was on the X-Files? Could be. I just remember being very disturbed after watching that episode. It's like, oh, God. Yeah, there you go. I don't know. I guess that's a show, folks. We're at about 8:57, 3 minutes till the hour, and I guaranteed you 2 hours, and by God, I think I delivered. So hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed yourself. Hope you found these stories entertaining, maybe disturbing. I don't know. Around the sage. It's that time, everyone. Have a good night. It is that time. It comes pretty quick here in the portal, but, what can I say? It's always a labor of love here to put on these shows, and I really appreciate all the love and support. And you guys coming in, great to meet some new people. Special thanks to Tommy Cooper for stopping by once again, and for Jesse Wilkins of Hometown Ghost Stories, gifting 5 memberships, and of course Mr. Dark Waters and his nice donation. Thank you, man. That meant the world, and it's just neat to see you stopping in, man. That's outstanding. So I don't know. I guess that's what I got for you tonight. I hope you had a good time. Thank you all for being here. Please remember we do these shows live on YouTube and Rumble and Twitch every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday night at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I did put the poll out, just so you know, and I'll get to the Ouija thing in just a minute because I do want to revisit that a little bit with you, give my feedback on the Ouija since it came up in the chat, and the cautionary tale that I think needs to be considered before you start playing with stuff like that. But I did put a poll out asking what you guys thought about me doing once a month, doing an extra show where I do a live in-studio investigation, utilizing the tools that I use when I'm out on location doing paranormal investigating. And we've done it in the past. We've had some pretty incredible things pop up, even here in the studio. So, I mean, actually, some of the best evidence I've ever caught was here in the studio. And again, I set it up over there where Don sits. Nobody's in that chair. It's about 5 feet from me at least. So when you're seeing me on camera, I'm not, I do give you my word. What I want to say is that most of you, like 98% of you, said, yeah, do it. And so if you want to weigh in on that, or if you have other suggestions, please check out that poll in the community tab on our YouTube page. I would like your feedback. If you're opposed to it, or if there's any specific reason you're opposed to it, please let me know. I was asked the question in the poll, why would some people be uncomfortable with it? Well, there is a belief that just by virtue of watching things like that, it can potentially open you up to experiences of your own. I've gotten emails from people through the years, from time to time, of people that have told me, every time I watch your show, weird stuff happens in my home. That one guy said that this one specific picture, just, which was there for years, suddenly started leaping off the wall. And, so I just sailed in. River Morris, how you doing? We're going to have to get a yarn, mate. Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. I'm always happy to yarn. I'm not sure what yarn is, but it sounds cool, River. I'm game. But anyway, I will probably start doing that, but it will be on an off night. It won't be a normal show night. So if it does make you uncomfortable, just don't tune in that night. It'll be just for those people that want to see it and want to be a part of that and experience it. I also do live stream from investigation locations when I investigate, so it's not a lot different from that anyway. But in any case, I don't want people to feel uncomfortable or feel like this is creepy. I don't want to be a part of it. Certainly, I don't begrudge you that, and it's not for everybody. Paranormal investigating is not for everybody. So just to put it out there that it's overwhelmingly in support of me doing an extra show a month where we do the in-studio investigating. I don't know when that's going to be for sure. Probably maybe next week. I don't know. Just tossing it out there. But anyway, just to let you know, and you can check out the poll yourself. It's on the community tab, so you can see how everybody weighed in. Getting back to the Ouija board, which was brought up, like one of the chatters, I think it was 5T5 or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I have a personal dyslexia with names, so I always dump names. Even people I've known for years are just suddenly gone from my head. It's just some mental defect of mine. So don't take it personal if I don't remember names. It's just my own personality glitch. But brought up the point that they wanted to maybe pull out the Ouija board and see what happens. Now, here's what I will say about Ouija boards. This is that close to go into this. I feel you, Tommy. A lot of people compare Ouija board as the same as doing looking for EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, or utilizing other tools, that it's all the same. And I don't agree that it is. The Ouija board is a pretty specific tool that is utilized by people putting their hands on this tool and focusing on making contact with a being. Now, when you're doing EVPs or whatever, some people hold the recorder, some people place it on an object, but in any case, you're asking things to interact with that tool. The difference with something like a Ouija board is that it's you are creating an energy channel for something to come through. And so you are blindly creating a channel of yourself. You don't know what you're talking to. You don't know what it is. It could be anything, or it could be nothing at all. It could be just your subconscious. But on the off chance that you did actually make contact with something, you are saying, come through me, utilize my energy, my field. And if it is something dark, the object of a lot of dark things is to enter. I'll just put it that way, to become your problem. And when you say something like, come talk to us, and you're holding this board, you're making a circuit with other people holding this board, it's possible that you are allowing it right into you. And that's where, to me, it becomes dangerous. When, psychics don't create blind channels when they channel spirits. Practitioners doing any number of different modalities in contacting spirits don't create blind channels. But when you use a Ouija board, you have no control. You have no idea what you're talking to. You have no idea what it's capable of, but you're inviting it through you to interact with this tool, and that's where I think it's dangerous. In many esoteric practices, speaking of contacting the spirits, there's very specific measures and practices that are put into place long before that happens. Some use cleansing, use tones, use music, use crystals, use prayer, use holy water, any number of things to cleanse and to keep negative things away. And then the practitioner themselves are trained to utilize that gift. And they've trained themselves, or they've followed somebody else training or whatever. So please be careful. Don't just pick this up, read the instructions on the box, and think, I'm going to talk to Grandpa. That's probably not what you're going to be talking to anyway. But if it is, fantastic. Now, again, I will say that Ouija boards are 99%, 95%, nothing will ever happen. Most people, it's subconscious, or it's, just any number of psychological things going on. But there's enough people that have had horrible experiences and gone on to have a lot of terrible experiences because they did make contact with something, and that something was horrible. So please be careful. Please be careful. That's all I'm going to say. I do believe they can be used safely and respectfully, and can be an amazing tool. But you got to know what you're doing. Second thing is that anytime you open a portal, you got to know how to close it. You don't just slide a piece of plastic over goodbye and it's done. That's not how it works. You've created a connection with something, and just by saying, okay, goodbye, slide it over goodbye. Okay, we're done. And then put it away. That's probably not done. And there are methodologies to do that. Depends on what you're into. Again, any kind of methodology like that, it has to resonate with your spirituality, because faith is important. So choose whatever that is. I'm not going to give advice to that measure because I don't want that responsibility. And who knows? I could be all wrong too. Anybody's guess. But at any rate, just be careful. That's my advice. So anyway, hi, buddy. You want to come in and say hi? Mm-hmm. We have a visitor in the studio. Say hello to everybody.
Hi.
This is my minion, Mr. Elijah. How you doing?
Good.
Good. We watching the show?
No.
No? Okay. All right, get out. No, I'm just kidding.
I just thought it was 9 and I thought you were done.
I should be done, but we ended up going a little overtime, so. But, yeah, it's great to see everybody. Maggie says hi, minion.
Hi.
Well, thank you, Tommy. I appreciate that, brother. And thank you all for coming in and being a part of the journey. Again, I don't mean to be preachy, but I just think that this stuff is real. I mean, I've had enough of my own experiences to know that there's stuff out there. These things happen. It's not just folklore and tall tales. That there's truly something incredible going on out there. And there's also truly some terrifying stuff going on there. So don't challenge the universe, because sometimes the universe answers, is my point. So, all right. Yeah, good point, Rachel. Yeah, good point. Don't use a board when you're in an emotionally vulnerable state, depression or sadness. Yeah, that's true. Weakens your aura. Anyway, that's all we got time for tonight. Thank you again. It was great to see all of you. I really appreciate it. It was great to see Darkwater stop in. That was really cool. That's the first time he's been here that I know of. But that was real fun. All right, so that's going to wrap it up. All right, going to close the show. You ready? All right. Remember, everybody, we love you all. Be good. Be kind. Be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day. And remember
To laugh as much as you can.
to laugh as much as you can. All right, guys. Love you all. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern for another 2-hour venture. So until then, y'all take care of yourselves. We'll see ya.